My next guest joins me right here in studio, Mr. Dean Janes. He's the CEO of IMGG, stock symbols IMGG. Dean, good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Don. It's been a while.
It's been a little while, and every time I have you come into the studio, I think, is this the week he can tell us? But what's the latest with your FDA approval process with the Dominion device?
Well, I'd love to give you approval, status. You're still on the top 10, at least the top 5. But no, we've sent them a package on July 5th. There was a lot of communication back and forth. There's confusion of what I was sent. Could they open up certain files electronically? They were having problems with some of the images that we had sent as well, opening them. So we sent them a complete, entire new package with everything. I mean, I had sent just the documents that I had changed. I sent everything in paper form. I sent them, new imagery that they can open up in a file format that they say they wanted it.
Okay.
That was part of the review process. The 2 radiologists that reviewed the imagery and stuff like that. Even sent them the basic information that we construct 3D images from, and how we do it. I mean, it was really, there was a lot of back and forth, which is good. I mean, I actually like this group. They're really communicating with us.
Okay.
But it was just too confusing for them to see which elements were changed. So I sent the entire package to them, cross-referenced it a lot so they could understand exactly where things are different, in their questions from their cover letter. And I feel really confident with it. I think this is going to fly through. I think we really have made some significant progress with them. Keeping my fingers crossed, this is it, but, it's good. It's a good place to be.
Well, I think it's important to note that you've done this successfully 4 or 5 times previously.
Right.
This one has been the longest period that you've endured, correct?
Well, absolutely. And, so I mean, there's been, the FDA is having some, meetings with the industry, and everyone's upset. The process seems to have changed considerably more towards an ambiguous process. And every industry, in the medical industry, every part of that, device makers as well as drug makers as well as, invasive device makers are really upset that it's taking so long, way longer than I've ever had. I mean, my longest FDA submission prior to this was 9 months. So obviously, it's changed quite a bit, not for the better in some sense. And it doesn't mean that what we're doing is all really that much more difficult. It's just their process has just become more ambiguous.
Yeah, sort of the pace of government, as it were.
Right.
I mean, maybe what you should do is tell them that Dominion can stop deep-sea oil leaks. You'll get approved tomorrow.
There you go. Environmentally responsible company. Yeah. Right.
So I suppose now you're back in that situation where you've submitted everything, as you mentioned. You've done it in duplicate and triplicate. Now you're waiting to hear comments. Is that how it works?
Well, they'll probably sit on it for a week or 2 because they're going to have to sift through the entire package. It's huge. And then I'm sure we'll have some communications back and forth via email. Now, this is all not happening via, which is really nice, via letters, through the formal process, which makes me seem to believe that they're really anxious to try to push this through, push it through. And, they're very communicative with me about it, and that's a really good sign. I think there's a lot of pressure on the FDA right now to get devices through that have been languishing through the process.
I get the impression that the communication level that you're seeing in 2010 was probably somewhat absent in 2009. I'm getting that impression from you just discussing this.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was almost non-existent compared to what we're having now. Now it's gone past the whole formal process, and it's a much more there was more give and take.
Yeah, so it's more streamlined. You
Right.
think things are going to move a little bit quicker now.
Right.
I know that as we approach the fall, there'll be another radiologist convention in the Midwest part of the country. I think it's in Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
And so you're probably already beginning to prepare for that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we're really, really excited about that as well. We've got, actually a really great location. We're right next to GE.
Wow.
I mean, it's just perfect. Center aisle, it's going to be a great location. Even better than last year, which we were right across from Toshiba. Toshiba is just like on the other side of the aisle, maybe a few aisles over, but I mean, it's a great location.
We always ask our CEOs on the program to silence their cell phones, but Dean's the only one that I let him leave his on in case the call comes. Again, Dean Janes, IMGG IMGG. Thanks for the update and looking forward to more great news as we go along.
Thanks for having me again, Don.
Take care.
You too.